Welcome. We've got some thrilling Arsenal news lined up for you, so stay tuned until the end to catch all the latest updates. And don't forget to leave 300 likes to keep us motivated in bringing you the latest Arsenal updates. Arsenal's Albert Sambi Lokonga set to join Hamburg after medical. Arsenal are bracing for a hectic final day of the transfer window, having already secured 7 new signings this summer. The Gunners are reportedly on the verge of completing a deal for Bayer Leverkusen's Piero Hincapié before the 7 p.m. deadline. However, to balance the books, the club must offload players deemed surplus to requirements. One such player, Albert Sambi Lokonga, is close to sealing a permanent move to Hamburg in the Bundesliga. According to Sky Sports Germany journalist Florian Plettenberg, the 25-year-old midfielder has completed his medical with the German side, with final details of the transfer expected to be confirmed on Monday morning. Lokonga, once hailed as outstanding by Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta, joined the Gunners from Anderlecht in 2021 with high expectations. The Belgian midfielder initially impressed in his debut Premier League campaign, but his form dipped, leading to 3 loan spells away from the club. Despite training with Arsenal during pre-season, it became clear that Lokonga had no long-term future at the Emirates. Previously likened to Yaya Touré by former Anderlecht boss Vincent Kompany, who praised his ability to demand the ball in any situation, Lokonga failed to live up to that lofty comparison. Hamburg now offer the talented midfielder a fresh start to reignite his career. Kai Havertz speaks out on Arsenal fall narrowly at Anfield. Liverpool maintained their flawless start to the 2025-26 Premier League season with a hard-fought 1-0 victory over Arsenal at Anfield on Sunday afternoon. Dominik Szoboszlai's solitary goal, a brilliantly executed free kick from 30 yards in the 83rd minute, secured the win for Onslaught's reigning champions. The match was a tense affair, showcasing the fine margins that often decide top-tier clashes, with Arsenal holding their own but ultimately succumbing to the hosts' late brilliance. Mikel Arteta, Arsenal's manager, acknowledged the formidable atmosphere at Anfield and what he called Liverpool's moment of magic as pivotal in his side's defeat. Speaking post-match, Arteta noted that Arsenal controlled much of the first half but saw the game's momentum shift after the break. "This is Anfield, and at some point, things turn," he remarked. "You can't dominate here for 95 minutes, and we made some poor decisions, particularly in how we managed possession." Arsenal adopted a cautious approach, relying on a robust defensive structure and set-piece threats, largely due to the absence of key players. Bukayo Saka was sidelined by injury, while Martin Odegaard was only fit enough for the bench. To add to their woes, William Saliba suffered an ankle injury during the warm-up, forcing Arteta to hand a Premier League debut to summer signing Christian Mosquera. Despite the circumstances, Arteta praised Mosquera's performance, describing it as absolutely top-notch for such a high-stakes occasion. Arteta defended his side strategy, insisting it was designed not just to frustrate Liverpool but to secure victory. "We raised our game to a level where Liverpool had to step up," he said. However, he admitted that Liverpool were more clinical in seizing their moment, with Szoboszlai's strike proving decisive. "Matches like these are settled by individual errors or moments of brilliance, and they produce something extraordinary," Arteta added. Kai Havertz, absent from the match, shared his thoughts afterwards. "I think we put up a proper fight today at Anfield, one of the toughest grounds to play at," Havertz said. "We showed real character and team spirit, especially in the first half when we controlled the game and frustrated Liverpool. Unfortunately, we lost a bit of focus after the break, and in a game this tight, one moment like their quick free kick can change everything. We'll learn from this and come back stronger." The defeat underscores Arsenal's challenge in maintaining consistency in big away matches. Despite a commanding first half, they struggled to manage transitions and maintain composure after the interval. Arteta pointed to rush decisions, particularly from the goalkeeper, as a key factor in losing momentum. "We got a bit frantic and couldn't move as a unit," he explained, highlighting their struggles in the second half. The absence of key players also limited Arsenal's tactical flexibility. Arteta noted that with Odegaard injured and Havertz unavailable, the midfield had to play more conservatively, relying heavily on Mikel Merino's creativity. Yet, he dismissed suggestions that the approach was overly defensive, pointing out that Arsenal still fielded 3 attackers and 2 attacking fullbacks. Mosquera's debut was a silver lining for Arsenal. The young defender looked assured despite the intense pressure of Anfield, stepping in for the injured Saliba early on. Arteta expressed confidence in Mosquera's potential, noting that his composed performance bodes well for the future. This match highlighted the razor-thin margins at the top of the Premier League. Liverpool, under Slot's guidance, demonstrated their championship pedigree by capitalising on a critical moment. Arsenal, though defeated, proved they remain serious contenders. As Havertz and Arteta vowed, the Gunners will look to learn from this setback and regroup for the battles ahead in the title race. Premier League talk: on Slot's brilliance and Arsenal's gut-wrenching woes. Arsenal's Anfield agony. Arsenal's proud 858-day unbeaten run against the Premier League's Big Six came to a shuddering halt at Anfield. This impressive streak, stretching across 22 matches against heavyweights like Manchester City, Manchester United, Liverpool, Tottenham, and Chelsea with 13 wins and 9 draws, was finally undone. Whether all these clubs truly qualify as Big Six is a debate for another pint, but the 1-0 defeat left Arsenal reeling. August, a defining month? Despite Jamie Carragher's predictably over-the-top reaction to Liverpool's victory, it's tough to read too much into a Premier League win in August, no matter who's involved. Arsenal will be proper gutted to leave Merseyside pointless, and they've every right to be. A goalless stalemate wouldn't have been the end of the world for either side, but Liverpool will be chuffed to bits. For Onslaught, what's most intriguing is that the reigning champs have bagged 9 points from 3 games without yet hitting the fearsome heights of their top gear. Liverpool's defensive steel. Slot might have a quiet moment to ponder his side's rock-solid showing at the back at Anfield, especially after relying on Virgil van Dijk's cool head and leadership to steer them through sticky patches against Bournemouth and Newcastle. With Crystal Palace knocking back yet another Liverpool bid for their centre-half Marc Guehi, it wouldn't raise too many eyebrows if the England man heads north before the transfer window slams shut at 5 p.m. on Monday. Who knows, he might even pass Alexander Isak heading the other way. Slot's lads have plenty to grin about as September beckons. Slot's golden touch. Slot seems to have a knack for spinning the Anfield roulette wheel and landing a winner every time. With Trent Alexander-Arnold gone and injuries sidelining Conor Bradley and Dutch winger Jeremy Frimpong, sticking midfielder Dominic Szoboszlai at right-back looked like a right old punt destined for disaster. Yet, Slot's bold move paid off in spades, with the Hungarian putting in a cracking shift, topped off with a belter of a 30-yard strike that clinched the match. Hungarian heroes and new faces. Szoboszlai and his compatriot Milos Kerkez will be off to Dublin next weekend for the opening round of World Cup qualifiers. Kerkez, the ex-Bournemouth left-back, might still be gobsmacked by his plush new digs at Anfield. His performance against Arsenal, especially in keeping the lively Noni Madueke in check, was proper class, hinting at his ability to shine on the biggest stages. Arsenal's disappointment. Arsenal's 858-day unbeaten streak against the Premier League's elite was a badge of honour, but it unravelled in frustrating fashion. Mikel Arteta spoke post-match about both teams raising the bar to an elite level, and for the first hour, his side looked calm and fearless, though they barely troubled the keeper. The margins were tight, but Arsenal's big summer spending failed to add that sprinkle of magic dust. Martin Zubimendi couldn't get a foothold, and Victor Gyökeres was left chasing shadows up front. Same old story. Liverpool weren't exactly dazzling either, with their standout performers being the defensive trio of Szoboszlai, Ibrahima Konate, and Van Dijk. The 3 points and the massive psychological lift they bring will sting Arsenal to the core. For 3 seasons running, when the moment calls for bottle, risk, ambition, and that elusive elite spark, Arsenal have come up short. Their reliance on Bukayo Saka for moments of brilliance, Arteta's own words, remains glaring, even as a bit ease looked a threat when he came on. Damning stats. Here's a stat to make Arsenal fans wince. Under Arteta, their away record against the Big Two Liverpool and Manchester City in all competitions is a grim 15 matches, no wins, 7 draws, and 8 losses. They've scored just 9 goals while conceding 29. It's a record that lays bare their struggle to seize the moment when it matters most, especially in hostile grounds like Anfield. Missed opportunities. Once again, Arsenal failed to grab the day by the scruff of the neck. Noni Madueke tore down Liverpool's left flank, but Milos Kerkez stood tall, outshining Arsenal's faltering stars. As the Gunners head into September, the same old questions linger. Can they find a spark to turn tight margins in their favour, or will their familiar frustrations define yet another season? For now, Anfield is Slot's kingdom, and his Reds are marching on with a proper spring in their step. Thanks for watching Arsenal Time. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to like, share, and leave a comment below. Continue following the Gunners' journey with us, and see you in the next video. Come on, you Gunners!